Let's start tonight, however, in Nigeria, where foreign airlines flying into that country have now started to refuel abroad in order to deal with the growing scarcity of hard currency and jet fuel. This is a second blow for airlines operating over there, since the central bank has made it virtually impossible for them to repatriate earnings from ticket sales in the country. Now, the crash in the naira since it's floating in June this year has compelled companies like Total, Sahara, ConocoPhillips to double the retail price of jet fuel. Some carriers have had their aircraft stranded, others have been forced to cancel planned trips altogether. Dubai-based Emirates, for example, has started to detour to Accra, Ghana in order to refuel its planes. Germany's Lufthansa is loading a lot more fuel for flights originating in Frankfurt. British Airways, KLM, Turkish Airlines, all of them have resorted to using much smaller aircraft on their routes into Nigeria. Let's figure out exactly where the country goes from here. Deji Badmus has been monitoring the situation in Lagos. He joins me now live from that city. Deji, put this into context for us. How many local and international carriers are still operating in the country in the wake of the devaluation of the naira in June and, of course, everything else that has happened since then?
Well, first, Rama, let me just say that we haven't seen airlines, shutting down their operations here as a result of the devaluation of the naira, because there are actually quite a number of reasons why some of them have actually suspended operation. For instance, today, Arik Air, that's the largest domestic airline in this country, suspended its operation because its insurance policy expired. So it announced a suspension, a temporary suspension now of its operation. And just a couple of weeks ago, another local airline, Aero Contractor, actually suspended its operation because, of course, it is heavily indebted to the government. Now, in terms of foreign airlines, we've seen Iberia, for instance, pull out of the country because, of course, because of low passenger traffic. United Airlines as well has done that. But other than that, well, the other airlines are still pretty much operating. They are not leaving the country. They are still coping, so to speak. And as you've been reporting, some of them have actually decided to, reduce the size of the aircraft now they bring to Nigeria. I mean, they no longer bring, for instance, the Boeing 747. They come with the 777, which is a smaller aircraft.
Indeed, relatively smaller there. I understand some carriers have also resorted to increasing their prices to destinations in Nigeria. Which carriers have done so, and how do they explain that price hike to their clients, aside from, of course, the fact that the naira was devalued?
Well, virtually all the airlines have actually adjusted their prices, not just the local airlines, including the foreign ones as well. And the reason they've been giving is pretty simple. The naira has been devalued, for instance, for the international airlines, for instance, they've been citing the devaluation of the naira, which, of course, is a problem for them. And for the local airlines, there's also there's the problem of aviation fuel that you've been reporting as well. So virtually all of them have adjusted their prices. I don't think there's any airline that has not made that adjustment. And what they've basically been explaining to their passengers is that, the price of aviation fuel has gone up, and then the naira has been devalued. And then some of these foreign airlines too are finding it difficult, of course, as you know, to repatriate their funds out of this country.
And that brings me, of course, to my last question for you, Deji. How much revenue is locked up in Nigeria, which carriers can't move out of the country due to that continued lack of dollar liquidity that we're seeing across the market?
Well, Rama, it's difficult for me to give you an exact figure, but the last time we checked, it was in the region of $600 million. Now, there's every likelihood that amount has come down because of the devaluation of the currency, and because even though you still have that liquidity problem, but fact is that because we are not seeing some of these airlines pulling out of the country, it means they probably must have struck some kind of agreement with the Central Bank of Nigeria, and that they're able to move at least some of their money out of the country. But the last time we checked, $600 million. Has it gone up? I cannot say. Has it come down? Difficult to tell.
Indeed, we'll leave it there for the time being. Thank you for that. That's Deji Badmus, of course, bringing up to speed with the latest developments in Nigeria. Very similar situation to what we saw a little earlier in the year, of course, with Egypt.